Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Now that I've been introduced, I want to introduce my colleague who has been here since yesterday, Karen Mutai. Karen is also an officer in investor services and the sector leader for construction and built environment. I think investors who would like maybe to interact with her, she'll be here until the end of the session. And thank you. Now, basically, I will start with Ken Invest. Kenya Investment Authority is a government agency and a Ministry of Industry, Trade and Cooperatives. And it was established under the Investment Promotion Act 2004. And the mandate of the organization is to promote and facilitate investment in Kenya. And the functions, key functions for the organizations, one is promoting Kenya as an investment destination. And this is done through profiling of projects, both public and private. And we also do investor facilitation. This is done through our one-stop center, where we have various government agencies who have been seconded there to come and help investors under one roof. I'll be talking about this later. Then we also have investor tracking and aftercare services. This is post-establishment services where we get feedback from investors through visits and other interactions so that it will feed into policy advocacy with a view to making Kenya environment or investment environment competitive, both regionally and also internationally. Now, Kenya, I think many speakers have talked about many aspects of Kenya. Of course, currently we have devolved a system of government. Our GDP is in the region of $74 billion. And a population which we expect by the year 2020, maybe by the census, we expect Kenya to be around 50 million. We expect to do the census, I think, this year. Now, our economy has been very resilient. Looking at our GDP growth, by average, we are above sub-Saharan Africa average and even the world average. We've been doing between 4.75 and we expect to grow at 6.1% this year. And agriculture, of course, has been our main sector, contributing in the region of 30%. And real estate, which I think is related to this function, is around 7.4% contributing. And our manufacturing sector currently contributing about 9%. I'll be talking about this sector expectation, how we want to grow them, especially the Big Four agenda in the coming slides. In the Big Four agenda, I think even the last speaker, Mr. Onyango, has also talked about manufacturing currently contributing about 9% to GDP. We are expecting manufacturing to contribute 15% by the year 2022. Food and nutrition security, we want Kenya to be 100% food secure. 100% universal health care coverage by the year 2022. Currently, I think we are not doing very well. And then 500,000 housing units, affordable housing units. We have a deficit of about 250 housing units every year. And we expect to attract investors in this sector. Now, coming to manufacturing, we have a number of subsectors. And the most, I think, important sector for this function is the construction material subsector. We are looking to bring in investors who can produce, construction materials which will also be very affordable and help in us furthering the housing, the affordable housing as part of the Big Four agenda. A number of investment opportunities within the various subsectors for private sector uptake. Now, the affordable housing, as we expect this sector, by the year 2022, to contribute from the current 7% to 14% to our GDP. And a number of investment opportunities exist, development of affordable housing to cater for the needs of the low-income earners. I think Mr. Ravi has talked about this. Setting up of factories for industrial building systems and building materials so that we'll have this sector to grow. In the food security, we expect to have large-scale irrigation in about 700,000 acres that the government has set aside. And you'd see the land under irrigation by the year 2022 will be having a marked growth, and the same for the holders, small holders, and jobs created by the year 2022 would be in excess of about over 4,000 jobs. The universal health coverage, I think I've talked about this. You'd see currently about 16.5 million Kenyans covered by medical insurance under the NHIF. But by the year 2022, we expect the entire population of 51.5 to be covered. So, and we expect to bring in a number of, international insurance companies, as well as, pharmaceutical companies that to invest in the production of pharmaceutical products in Kenya. These are the areas we are targeting so that investors can come in, and as well as some of the hospitals. A number of Kenyans go to India to seek medical treatment, and by attracting some of the top-end, doctors and medical facilities, we'll be able to also cut in that cost of Kenyans going abroad seeking medical treatment. Now, on the matter of the investment climate, Kenya has been improving in its ease of doing business in the World Bank doing business indicators. The year 2013, Kenya was number 137 in about 190 countries. By the year 2018, we are number 61, making about 76 places. And that has come because of a number of engagement between private sector as well as government. For instance, one key such dialogue is the Presidential Roundtable, where KEPSA, the umbrella body for private sector, and the government ministries, chaired by the presidency, together twice in a year to dialogue on areas where there are issues that hinder business growth in Kenya. And on the same, we have cabinet subcommittee on doing business indicators that track, areas which have been identified so that they'll be, sorted to ensure that the private sector would find easier to do business in Kenya. The other aspect is in Kenya, our constitution guarantees the right of properties, a right against expropriation of private property. And as a country, we've not had expropriation of private property by government of the day. And we're also a member of International Center for Settlement of Investment Disputes, where any aggrieved private sector can seek legal redress at The Hague. We're also a member of MIGA, Multinational Investment Guarantee Agency. This also guarantees against non-commercial risk in case of any event where there is interference with your investment, then you will be able to seek redress. Of course, we have the Africa Trade Insurance Agency, which is also headquartered here in Kenya, to provide trade insurance to investors who locate in Kenya and to do business elsewhere in the world. Now, we have general investment incentives. Any investor who brings in his, capital goods, plant and machineries, and raw materials, these ones are duty and VAT exempt. You can also have, for investment which are done within our big cities of Nairobi, Mombasa, and Kisumu, we have what we call 100% investment allowance, which gives you 100% investment in capital, your capital expenditure before you start paying corporate tax. In a way, it's some kind of tax holiday, but it's limited to your capital expenditure. But if you invest outside our big cities, the investment allowance goes to 150%, and you'll be able to recoup your capital expenditure very fast. Now, we have also other schemes like EPZs and SEZ. EPZ is for export-oriented investment, where you are required as an investor who locates within our EPZs to export 80% of your production. And we have a number of them, the government ones and also the private ones. And there you will have 10 years tax holiday. You'll also have 10 years withholding tax holiday. And consumption of VAT, of water and electricity, you'll also not be paying VAT on that consumption. For SEZ, which is now under formation, the SEZ authority is now being established. They have a board and I think one employee, but the rest I think is coming. A number of areas have also been identified for government SEZ. Now we will have a reduced 10% corporate tax for the first 10 years, and the next 10 years we'll pay 15% corporate tax. I'm told time is out. Then let me just take you in less than 5 minutes at the Ken Invest. We have a very simple procedure from inquiry, where you will have an account manager assigned to you, to OSC facilitation, setting up and commencement, and then we'll have aftercare, which is post-establishment services. 7 steps from company formation to issuance of investment certificate and aftercare later on. We have currently this number of agencies which are located within the one-stop center to provide streamlined and coordinated services to investors. That is a pictorial view of our one-stop center, where investors can come and get service from all those agencies. And thank you very much. You have all these contacts where you can, our ministry, Keninvest, and the export processing zone. Thank you very much.